All right, Jesse on fire. Welcome back. So I just got done doing a video about the massive detonation explosion attack in Iran, and I wanted to use the time that I have sitting in the studio to go live and talk about the fights last night. Specifically, I want to talk about the Ian Garry fight, and I want to talk about the Anthony Smith fight. Well, mostly I want to talk about the matchmaking and then why he snapped in the octagon at that dude in the cage. I haven't spoken to him, but I can tell you exactly what happened right there without a doubt. Okay, I can tell you for sure exactly what happened because everyone was like, What's going on? You know, why is he going after this guy in the crowd?" Or like, they put the spotlight on that dude, which wait, Ian Garry was a glorified sparring match. That's an interesting read on that. I don't know about that, my dude. Oh, we talked about it in the post show. Okay, perfect. Then we'll watch it together. Let's definitely do that because I'll tell you right now, the dude that he snapped on fucking deserved it. Like, well, if anybody saw him talk about it, then I'll tell you what. Let me tell you what my very educated hypothesis is, and then you guys can tell me if it matches what he said. And honestly, there are certain times, like when a professional athlete is in the public eye, they essentially have agreed to certain terms, which are that, like, when they come into the when they enter into the auditorium, stadium, whatever, when they're near crowds, like in basketball and baseball and fighting and whatever, you basically accept that there are going to be people who are going to run their mouth at you. It's just part of the gig. There was one time I was at a Sacramento Kings game, and they were playing against can't remember. I think his name. I think Sean Bradley. I think was his name. This dude on the other team. Hang on. Let me just. And he was like, hang on. I'm pretty sure he was like 7'6" or something like that. Yeah, 7'6". Okay. So Sean Bradley was 7'6". It's like you see him in person, and it's like your brain can't even comprehend how a person can be that big, And it's like, being 7'6" is awesome for one reason only. One. And that is that you are going to be very difficult to deal with on a basketball court. For basically every other reason in life, it's awful. I mean, horrific to be that tall. Okay. And we were at this game, and we were real close to the floor. And these guys who were on the floor seats for the Kings, were yelling at him at the game this whole time. They're like, "You fucking freak. You freak. You freak." Like, I remember like looking at them and being like, what is wrong with these guys? Like, because he plays for another team. Like, that is the it's like that was the first time that I recognized. I was young then, I was in like 20s, and I remember just being, or like, yeah, like early 20s or whatever. And I remember being like, the fact that those guys can talk like that to a dude that's 30 feet away from them without any concern about getting their heads kicked in is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I've never seen anyone be more cruel than that. Like, if you put yourself in that situation in any other environment, right? Any other environment, say you're in a casino and some guy walks by and two guys at a table just see someone like that, and he's just like a regular guy who's walking through and happens to be that tall. They're all, "Hey, look at this freak. You fucking freak. Hey, you freak." And they won't leave the guy alone no matter where he goes in the casino. They just scream at him like that. It is like the only place in the world where people have the in-person safety to talk like that at people. You know what I mean? Just like they're just could say that to a person. And in combat sports, it's extra wild because you are literally 100% absolutely for certain talking to someone who could kill you with their bare hands while taking a nap at the same time. you know? And so like, it always, that part always drives me like, it just like breaks my brain. Because to me, I'm like, I try not to say things that I wouldn't say to a person's face, you know? And like, generally speaking, if I'm talking to a person that I know could beat the living fuck out of me, I'm generally, I mean, actually, no, because I talk to everybody the exact same. I am exactly the same with every single person. But I at least would take extra pause if I'm like, okay, like I don't want to be super disrespectful to a dude who literally kills people for a living. But it's like there's like these other types of people that their brain just doesn't work like that. Like they are going to they love the ability to talk shit with the safety of, security and like just the environment. They can do that with impunity. I would be embarrassed, humiliated if I was in the crowd and I'm yelling something at like some fighter and there's all these people around me. It's like in my mind, I would be like, obviously these guys know I would never say this in a million years. And the guys, so I would just think like, all I'm doing is demonstrating that I'm a complete fucking pussy that's doing this from here. Like, you're doing this from here. It's the same thing as like a dude who's with 30 fucking dudes and sees some guy that he doesn't like, that he walks past with his head down all the time. He's all, hey, fuck you, bro. Fuck you. You're like, oh, you caught me with your 30 friends now? Now you want to talk, And it's like, I don't know, man. Like, so with the situation with Anthony Smith, with them, this guy in the crowd, you're to talk shit to a fighter who just finished the last fight, his 50th fight, his last fight of the in his UFC career, which I can't even like, I'm not sure if I'm able to even verbalize to people like how massive a transition it is to go from professional fighter to you're no longer going to do this, and how that, like, the emotional impact of that for these guys. And Anthony's not going to fight anywhere else. He's an ESPN commentator. Like, he's done. You know what I mean? Like, he's done, and he knows it. 60th, I'm sorry. So, like, to talk shit, to yell something nasty at him in that moment is identical, from the way my perspective is identical to going to a dude who's attending his mom's funeral. Honestly, like, to me, this is exactly the same. It's like you go to like a dude who's burying their mom and just being like, and the thing that he's losing is his fight, and being like, and he's like, you're a bum, dude. You're a bum. You're garbage. Is the same as being like, hey, your mom was a fucking pig and the world's better off without her. It's like, it's unreal. It's insane. Like, it's insane. It's the kind of thing where, I'm not a person who, generally speaking, believes in like, uncontrolled violence. But in a case like that, it's, if I was at the funeral and a person did that, I would be like, listen, man, if you've got some pinned up emotions that you feel like getting off your chest, why don't you just go beat that dude within an inch of his life? It would probably make you feel better. He certainly deserves it. Like, what would you expect would be an appropriate thing to do to a dude who shows up at some guy's funeral who he does not know? Okay, he doesn't know anything. He doesn't know him, doesn't know his mom. All he knows is his name, and he knows that he's burying his mom, and then goes in there and talks shit, screaming at the top of his lungs about his mom. It's like, yeah, I would expect that dude to get beaten severely. It's exactly the same to me. It's like, you don't need to like him. You don't even need to respect him. You just need to have enough sense to shut the fuck up right then. I mean, in all honesty, you should have the sense to just not do that anyway. I can tell you right now, I have been to a million sporting events. I've never once yelled shit at an athlete like that. Never. So in my mind, I feel like some karma should go that guy's way, or at least like, I don't know, dude. It's fucking bananas, dude. It's like there's certain people where you honestly, I'm trying to get better about this, like in terms of wishing for bad outcomes for people. Because like, you know, there's that guy Vitali. I don't know if you guys know about this story. There's this dude Vitali who's one of these like social media prankster guys. And I'll show you just in case you guys don't know who he is. So this dude, right? At random, I mean, there's a million videos going around about him, but this guy went to the Philippines, okay, and harassed, and was just harassing the population, okay, like just harassing people all over the place. And he was, I mean, basically that was his entire brand initially, but like here's some clips of him in the Philippines. So he went to the Philippines and he's like, yeah, I'm here to, you know, harass the locals.
I have a question. I have a very important question for you. Can I shove this up your booty?
What?
Can I put this in your butt? It's called a new video game, Mario.
He's in the Philippines doing this, a foreign country. Anybody ever watch Locked Up Abroad? Because getting locked up in a prison in a different country is just about the worst fucking outcome you could ever imagine.
Mario Kart Infinity 360. Is that okay or no?
When he didn't get the reaction he wanted, Vitali decided to take things a step further and commit the first of his many crimes in the Philippines.
Hey, that is funny. But the point that I'm going to make is that like some people just deserve this shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's my point. The dude in the crowd is Vitali. Like, no sense whatsoever, no fucking class. But also, this is an interesting story I haven't talked about yet.
Cop doesn't want to do anything. He's just.
Why does he not react?
Nice.
He's not chasing me.
I know.
He jumped on the cop's motorcycle and just stole it.
I want you to chase me.
To chase me.
If harassing people the first time didn't work.
Anyway, so he did that for the whole time he was there. And they arrested him at the airport. And now he is facing 35 years in prison. And they're making an example of him. The president of the Philippines went on national television. And they're like, we're not deporting him. We're making an example of this guy. And the facility that he's in is absolute hell on earth. Like one of those places where you have like 30 people in a single cell. It's like, I mean, you can't even imagine a nightmare like where he's at. You know what I mean? It's a nightmare for him. And I got a lot of satisfaction about thinking about that, you know, where I'm like, good, fuck this guy. And then I caught myself doing it where I'm like, Jesus, man, like, I just doesn't make me feel good about myself. Because my instinct and default is generally like, that guy is a piece of shit, fuck him. And then it makes me feel good knowing that he's in this horrific condition, or, you know, and then I'm like, ugh. Now I feel dirty. I should, like, people should get what they deserve, but it still makes me feel dirty how good it makes me feel thinking about that fuck in that place. In the case of a dude who would yell shit at Anthony, I'm willing to set my, you know, attempts at moral fucking improvement to the side. And it's like, I think that Anthony should just get to fucking whip that dude's face into oblivion. But again, I don't like rude people who have the emotional intelligence of a fucking shoe, you know? Anyway, so that's what that is, you know? You say what you want about, you know, I mean, listen, and what I was talking about in the thumbnail about did the UFC do Anthony dirty? Like, I don't know, because the matchup that they gave him was interesting, you know. It's like, do you guys, I mean, I don't know how much you guys know about that dude, but that dude, let me show you. Okay. So this is the matchup that they gave him. Okay. Look at every single win. Look at every single win. First round knockout, 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 first round knockout. Okay. First round knockout, first round knockout. Every single one of his victories, he's 19-6. Every single victory is a first round knockout. Every single one. Okay. 100% no. I definitely did not lose any money on Anthony. I don't bet on people I'm buddies with ever. But I did win some money on Garry. And we'll get into that in a second, because you want to know whose breakdown wins the day of here's how this fight's going to go? Mine. And I fucking, the first time I've ever done this, I wrote it all the way out and posted it on X in advance. I'm like, here's exactly what's going to happen in this fight. It's on record, so no one can say, I don't need to go like dig up any videos. Here's exactly what I think is going to happen in this fight. And I just absolutely fucking bullseye nailed it. But anyway, I mean, so here's the thing about this matchup, right? The way that this works, and Anthony knows this as well as anybody else, is when a guy who is towards the end of his career, who has a big name, is getting towards the end, and like, especially when they know it's their, potentially their last fight, the UFC is like, okay, well, the way the business works is we build another guy's star off of the end of this guy's career, right? So we could transfer some of that hype over to this guy. Like, bro, are you kidding me? It certainly worked last night. You know what I mean? It's like, wait, this guy's 19-6. He has 19 first round knockouts. Like, that's good information for all of us to have. But, it comes at the expense of his 19th first round knockout in Anthony Smith's retirement fight. And so you kind of look at it, and I don't know, like in most cases, they do that. They give a guy, an upcoming guy, a shot. And then at the same time, with the fighter who is in Anthony's position, it's like, hey man, you could keep your job if you keep winning. You just need to you need to at least be beating the up and coming guys. That's the way it works. But in Anthony's case, to me, it's like, it's his retirement fight though. Like, it's his last fight. Right. And it's Anthony Smith. He works for the company. He's done a million fights. He's come in on short notice a bunch of times in very ill-advised situations too. When he took the Khalil Roundtree fight, he bailed out the UFC. He super bailed him out. He's done that a million times. Like, he's a guy that's just a gamer UFC company man. And I don't know, man. It just seems like you're going to give him this dude 18 fucking first round knockouts. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So Anthony had an incredible career. Obviously, I know him on a personal level, and really, he's a really, really, really good dude. And I feel for the guy, dude. Like, just in general terms, like, he'll be fine, but it's just it's a very, 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 very tough transition to go from something that has been your life's pursuit to like, that's just not a thing anymore in your life, All right, so on the other side, let me show you guys something. So here you go. Here is my breakdown that I wrote up a couple hours before the Garry and Prentice fight. So I'll read it to you guys, and you guys can tell me how you think I did. Prentice has incredible accuracy in his hands. He's fast, surgical, most deadly. His reach on straight punches is significantly longer than his opponents realize, and he catches them off guard inside distance. They think they're safe when they are not safe at all. That said, everyone he's fought thus far has stood in front of him and got caught stationary when he started the finishing sequence. Garry won't get caught off guard by his reach. He won't get caught stationary, and his footwork, distance management, speed, power, and precision are light years better than anyone Prentice has fought so far. Garry is going to dictate the pace of the fight. He's going to win the exchanges on the feet more than Carlos, and eventually he's going to initiate a clinch, which he will turn into a takedown. And I expect him to be dominant in the grappling from the top, potentially take the back and get a rear naked choke finish, or use the threat of the takedown to widen the gap on the feet. I've got Garry. And that is what you call crystal ball, fucking nailed it exactly, you know? So I feel pretty good about that. And I did bet it and I won, you know? But that said, he did almost get knocked out in the 5th round. That was scary. That was scary. I mean, listen, both their stock went up as far as I'm concerned. It's crazy that 2 fights in a row, Ian Garry gets, you know, goes to decision. He loses one, wins one. And coming out of both, you know, both guys. Well, you know what? Shavkat's stock didn't go up actually in the Ian Garry fight. I think Shavkat kind of stayed around the same. Ian Garry's went up, and then Ian Garry wins. His goes up again. And I think Paredes, you know, Carlos's goes up as well. But here's the thing. Okay. Here's the actually important part of the MMA conversation coming out of last night, in my opinion, is they're talking about Islam going up to 170 to fight the winner of either Bilal or Jack Della Magdalena. And dude, I think either of those 2 matchups are favorable to Islam. You know, like there are certainly ways that he can go in there and like do really well, win the fights. And I mean, he's trained with Bilal a lot, so I imagine he knows that game real well. But Shavkat won, you dumb bum. Yeah, no shit, you fucking retard. I said his stock. Okay. He had run over every single person he'd fought. People expected him to run over Ian Garry, and he eked out a decision where he was losing grappling exchanges to a person not known for their grappling. So why don't you stick to not knowing shit about MMA and not coming on professional MMA commentator channel, you know, who's been doing this professionally for the last 5 years and fucking question my expertise, idiot. I'm just kidding. I don't know shit about MMA. That was actually a joke. But I did, in this case, know more than this idiot. Wait, guy who loses, stock goes up. Guy who wins, stay. Yeah, exactly what I said and just explained it. Fucking moron. Now go take a timeout, dumb shit. 5-minute timeout for not knowing anything about mixed martial arts. Okay, so Ian Garry is going to get destroyed horribly by Bilal or Brady. Man, I do not agree with that at all. At all. So Brady, I think, is a tougher matchup potentially. But so what I was going to say is, like, with Islam, he could potentially, you know, win either of those fights. Like, you know, Bilal, I'm sure he's very confident, you know, just stylistically. And, you know, Jack, I think he has obviously a massive grappling advantage. So you can see those. But when you get to some of these other guys at 170, dude, like Buckley is nightmare fuel for someone coming up from 155, Islam or otherwise. Buckley's a fucking nightmare for Islam or these other guys, dude. Buckley is like the dark horse at 170 that's like, bruh, he is scary. And Ian Garry is also nightmare fuel for Islam. If you guys really can't see that, like if you think that Islam runs over Ian Garry, you're out of your mind. How? Like, Islam is incredible. He's an incredible striker, incredible grappler, right? But he's at 155 pounds. Coming up, these guys are way bigger. And if Shavkat is losing grappling exchanges to Ian Garry, it means Ian Garry is at least competent, you know, enough grappling now to where you can't just be like, oh, well, if someone gets a hold of him and gets him down, like these like strikers where you know that if they go to the ground, they're in trouble. Like, that's not Ian Garry anymore. That's just not who he is. And Ian Garry's stand-up is so elite. I don't understand how could anybody question that at this point? You guys know who, you guys have been watching Paredes. He's a stalking murderer. He literally just stalks his prey and then starches them in every fight. And Ian Garry, when they were both fresh, just dog walked him, completely fucking dog walked him on the feet. So, how could anybody have watched that fight and think that Ian Garry is going to get run over by anybody? Honestly, the only chance that Bilal or Sean Brady has is if they can turn it into a grappling match, because Ian Garry will fucking demolish those guys on the feet. Demolish those guys on the feet. They will have absolutely no answers whatsoever for Ian Garry on the feet. I mean, like the gap in that between Sean Brady, and it's honestly for Sean Brady, it's mostly like a body type thing, dude. Like Sean Brady is a tank. Ian Garry is a guy who's his length and his ability to use that length effectively with speed, footwork, precision, timing. He feels guys out. He knows where their pauses are. Like that's what you saw last night, dude. That's what you saw last night. He's like the guy there's no aspect of striking that he is not exceptional. Right? The reason he was getting to Prentice so much is not just because he's fast, not just because he's precise. It's also him figuring out their timing, figuring out where they have these tells where like, oh, when they do this, they pause for a second. Like most people have those. Ian Garry picks him up, and then when they pause, body kick. You know, it's like he's amazing on the feet. He is amazing on the feet. If you can't acknowledge that, that just means you're just hating on him. Like, it's just, I mean, it's not even up for fucking debate. Now, he almost lost last night, right? He almost lost last night for sure at the end. I thought, man, that was wild. I mean, because I bet so much on him, dude, I was stressing out at the end. But yeah, I mean, that was a masterclass on the feet. So that's what I'm saying. Like, Bilal's not going to be able to deal with that on the feet at all. Just bottom line. But all these guys who are like really great strikers, Bilal has figured out a way to get inside and he takes him down and he kind of like nullifies him. That's how he would win. Sean Brady would be the same thing. But again, they're going to have to get through a fucking minefield to get to him. And again, one of the reasons why Ian Garry is going to be so challenging to deal with for those guys is because one thing that he does better than these kind of like striker versus grappler, you know, fights that you have in your mind where the guy, oh, this guy was the elite striker, but then the grappler was able to nullify, is Ian Garry's grappling is getting way better, but also is his circular motion, his footwork and circular motion is different than these other guys. Like, even though they're great strikers, they're stationary. Like, it's like, you know, they move, but then they get stationary, and that's when they start throwing their. Ian Garry is like fluid, dude, and he moves this way, moves that way, moves this way, moves that way. He is legit. But you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. And I think Carlos Paredes has a bright future also. But I mean, Ian Garry, I did this video like probably 18 months ago, maybe 18 months, 2 years ago, when Ian Garry had just beat I can't remember who it was, but in his post fight, he was like, I'm moving to Brazil. He's like, and I'm going to become the best grappler in the UFC. He's like, I'm going to do nothing but train my grappling, and I'm going to go over and over and over, and I'm going to make my grappling as strong as my striking. And then what are they going to do? Like, then what's anybody going to do? Because he knows where his strike. And I'm like, this dude is the kind of crazy that he's going to do that. Like, this dude is going to do that. And that's one thing that I think commentators and analysts completely miss a lot of the time, dude. A lot of wait, hang on. I'm sorry. Ian's grappling sucks. How did he win grappling exchanges with Shavkat Rakhmonov then? You know, how'd that happen? Like, he's obviously not like an elite grappler yet, but he is certainly good enough that he is able to deal with guys who are really great grapplers. You know, this is mixed martial arts. It's not a grappling match, but he is getting better and better and better and better, obviously. And that's the other thing is like, so when people come in and they're like kind of striking heavy, or if they were like, they come from a kickboxing background, like, you know, Alex Pereira, people are like, oh yeah, you know, like they're just going to get destroyed by a great grappler. And you're like, and when you know that they are training, you know, now they're training for mixed martial arts, so they're training grappling every single day. And you know, they've got 4 years, you know, they're 3 years of intensive elite world-class, you know, submission grappling, you know, under their belt now. Like, the part that people don't get is that you're talking about absolutely elite champion level athletes. Okay. Like, they don't learn submission grappling at the same like pace as anyone else. Like, they will advance so fucking fast. John Danaher said that anyone can become elite, like top of the world in 5 years at anything. if they immerse themselves in it. Okay. 5 years. So people get better, dude. People get better, and he's getting way better. But dude, I know it's not even just his takedown defense, though. He goes after takedowns. That takedown, he was running that exact same takedown every time. Last time he was doing the single leg, and Paredes had a really good, like clearly specific single leg defense that he was running over and over and over. And he almost fucking reversed it over. Glazing this dude hardcore, but I mean, just objectively watching him fight. Admit Bilal dog walks Ian Garry. No, I'm not going to admit it because I don't agree. Like, if anybody honestly thinks that there is a world where Bilal beats Ian Garry on the feet, you're out of your mind. Like, I'm not saying that Bilal can't win, but Bilal needs to get inside and he needs to be able to take Ian Garry down. And he's going to, like, that fight, if Bilal wins, is going to be, I mean, there's not two ways that fight goes if Bilal wins. He's going to get him on the ground. He's going to just hold him there. He's going to try to tire him out. Maybe he gets a submission, but most likely he just dominates him and goes to a decision. Ian Garry will, and I'm not just saying this about Bilal. Ian Garry dog walks anyone who has that stature at welterweight. Anyone. There's no one who's built like Bilal who's going to be able to deal with Ian Garry on the feet. That's just fact. Exactly this. Bilal would have to trap him on the fence for 5 rounds. But yeah. So no, I mean, dude, they're gonna do Topuria against Islam, I think. When Danner says a comment, he means several training sessions, 7 days a week. Yeah, no, I know. But he's talking about purely submission grappling. You don't need to be fucking Gordon Ryan to have excellent submission grappling in the UFC. You know what I mean? Anyway, that is actually, you know what? I got to drop this video. I wanted to do this while the video on this Iran attack uploaded because this story is bananas. There are like 30 angles of this. Oh, hell no. They limited ads my fucking whatever. I'm going to drop it anyway. How could okay. That's insane. They yellow iconed my video about it. Anyway, whatever. I'm going to drop it right now and I show 30 different angles of this massive explosion in Iran that Israel almost 100% certainly did because they basically claimed credit for it. They're like, yeah, we didn't do it. But our experts say that the Iranian regime is going to collapse as a result of this very terrible explosion that we had nothing. Anyway, I'm going to drop that right now. Love you guys. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. Peace. Look for that video literally in the next 30 seconds.